Hello and a very warm welcome back to the channel, and here we are, first video of 2022, and I'm back downstairs in the lower workshop, stoves on, lovely and warm, and we're going to take a look at this Midlander set. Now before Christmas I started to say that we'd perhaps get a few train sets out from the collection, and I've already run a Wren freight set. That was great. That was on Lima track that came with the set. Now this is a Holy Triang set with some Super 4 in it, and it's RS8. Now I'm just going to lift the lid. It's a lovely looking illustration on the lid of the 3F, the dealie, and a couple of LMS coaches emerging from a large station. And here's the set. So there's some coaches. Some really nice Super 4. I've spent a bit of time cleaning that up. It's come up beautifully, still retains its original plating, and the dealie's just had the lightest of going overs, just a bit of an oil and clean of the brushes. It seems to be running very smoothly. So this set, RS8, is what we're going to be looking at in a little while. Now, after the Wren video, I've had a bit of a think about controllers, and I think that when we do look at train sets on the channel, I'm going to try and pick an appropriate controller. So the newer controller I used with the Wren was perhaps a bit out of place, so let's stick with something a bit more in line with the time. So here's RP13, the Westminster. I have featured this in a couple of videos before, but this is going to be a lovely controller to use with the train set, so I'm going to use that today. And here is another dealie, just to show you. I have run one of these 3Fs on the main layout. They're great. I really enjoyed running it. It's a very beaten up example I've been using on the main layout. Here's one I've yet to recommission, but I thought I'd show you it today. Lining all complete on this one, and the conrods, crank rods are looking very nice, aren't they? Don't think that's been on the track. And that's our 251 060 loco with R33 tender, and I like these Triang boxes that have got the yellow panel. They don't seem to have done them for a huge length of time, but they look really good if you have them end on display. So there's one to look forward to for the main layout in the future. Okay, well, before I set up this Super 4 track, we need to choose the next train set from the collection to look at. So I've selected a couple. I'm going to show you them briefly, and then maybe in the comments you can say which one you'd like to see next. So look, R690 London Transport Goods set. This is a bit new for me, one of the newer items in the collection. So the box hasn't really stood the test of time very well. There's bits missing here and there, but the contents look good. There's some newer System 6 type track. Look at this excellent pannier, London Transport Red. I have run another one of these on the main layout in the past, but it'll be good to get this one going. And lovely pieces of rolling stock here. So I think that would be a great set, and I could perhaps use that with a slightly newer controller. Right, just let me move that out the way, because the second choice is really something we haven't featured a huge amount of on the channel, but we're going to in the future, I think. Something from Hornby Dublo. EDP2, passenger train, Duchess of Atholl. So just going to bring this into view. So we're back to the late 40s, early 50s here, I would imagine, and look, one of these lovely illustrations from Meccano. Quite a large, comprehensive Hornby Dublo layout, and a couple of young people there enjoying operating it. So let's lift the lid and see what Meccano Hornby Dublo offered us in this particular set. So I'm just going to move back. Quite nicely packaged. So first of all, there is a controller, but it's not compatible with the mains. It needs a transformer. Now, in the days of the 40s and 50s, perhaps not everybody had access to mains, so you could use a battery, or in the old days I think they referred to them as accumulators, a rechargeable item. I'm going to find a period Meccano transformer to go with this. These coaches look great. Look at these shiny metal wheels. And here's a hint of what's going to be pulling it. There's a tender and it says remove cover to display the loco. Well, here we go. I won't take this out today, but I think you can get a gist. There's the Duchess of Atholl, packaged beautifully. And just a couple of other items of interest. There's a little vial here with some lubricant in. It's a little bit thick, but it's actually still moving around. It's got a pin in there that you could dip into the oil and just apply sparingly to where it was needed. And here's a lovely little ring spanner. Now, from memory, I would imagine this is perhaps to undo the body shell. I think there's a nut under the front bogie. Now, I'm probably going to be wrong about that, but there we go. So we've got a choice. We can go back in time and run some Hornby Dublo, or we can go to the newer end of the collection. Some really excellent looking Hornby items there with this System 6 type track. So I'm going to let you decide. I'll look forward to reading the comments and learning which one you'd probably like to see next time we're downstairs running a set. I've got an idea which one I'd like to get going first, but let's see what you all think. Right, well, I think that's enough of me going on. I think it's time to see this Midlander, so I'm going to just tidy up, and then off camera I'll put this Super 4 together and connect up to the lovely Triumph controller, and let's see what this little set performs like. Okay, well, hopefully you can see everything set up. There's the Super 4. Coach is looking rather large on the far side. Dearly parked next to the power clip, and I must say the controller wires included were very short. They could have given us a little bit more wire, I think. But here's the Triumph controller, and I forgot to mention this uncoupling ramp, that'll give us a bit more fun. Now, this controller that I featured on the channel before does actually run quite a lot of the time in half wave, so listen to that. That is very noisy, isn't it? So I'll just bring it forward. So I think after a bit of due consideration I might just swap this controller out, because it's going to be difficult for you to hear what I have to say. So here's another Triumph controller. This is a P5. This might be the sort of controller actually that was bought as a first controller. So I'm just going to pause the video and swap out the Westminster with the P5, and that'll enable the loco not to be on half wave most of the time, which is a noisy way of running. It makes the motor quite harsh sounding. So this is no half wave, this is all full wave rectification, so it should make the running a little bit quieter. So just let me swap this out. Okay, well, we've got the P5 wired in now using the same tails, and I think, let me just move this back, the loco is much quieter. We've got no half wave, so I can't control it quite so well slowly, but I seem to be able to back it up quite slowly. So let's get hold of those coaches and set it running round the Super 4. Still a little bit noisy. I mean, these old toy trains are noisy items, but definitely not quite so harsh now we're on this other controller. So I guess I ought to demonstrate full Triumph speed. We'd have all had a go. My goodness, how does that stay on? Well, I'll tell you how it stays on. Mainly it's the magnesion now. Okay, we're at the uncoupling ramp, just a little bit of reverse. Maybe I can move away. No. It's much easier to use the uncoupling ramp with the other controller. So here we are, let's try another configuration now. I'm just going to go up to these coaches. So first of all, we'll go in reverse, tender first. This is great. Just can't underestimate the fun just running on an oval like this. Here we go, coaches being pushed. Okay, I've got another idea now, so I just need to get over that uncoupling ramp. Yeah. Bring the little dealie up to the... Now, did I get that? Yeah, look at this. Locomotive now in central position. And I think what we'll do now is try and get into a more traditional configuration. Yes. Yeah. Can't underestimate the fun that these spring-loaded uncoupling ramps bring to a small train set. Not having to touch anything, all remote, just using the... we seem to have come to a bit of a halt there, so I'm just going to move the loco. Must be a slight bit of dirt on the track there. That does sound good, doesn't it? So let's just let that run round a bit now. Well, I've really enjoyed getting this Midlander set out. Probably going to have a little bit more fun with this. And I'm looking forward to reading about which of the other sets that I showed earlier in the video you think we should get running next down here. But as this little 3F goes round the small oval of track, I'm going to leave you with it, and until the next video I'm going to say goodbye.